To understand what systemic racism means and the significance of Black Lives Matter, I will start here. There is a difference between a white supremacist that is so obvious of a threat to safety and freedom that I need say little else about that. However, acknowledging that a culture of white supremacy exists and is ubiquitous, meaning it is in nearly everything, is much more of a mind-blowing realization. I like the word ubiquitous. It's one of those words that sounds like what it is. It sounds like liquid, able to drip, run, and ooze into everything it encounters. It becomes part of the landscape, shaping everything it touches, smoothing or destroying what gets in its way. The jagged rock doesn't even notice it's being polished, shaped by the water. How do we learn to recognize something like that? Through microaggressions, we are taught that lighter skin is somehow more beautiful. This is because England and other white European nations colonized much of the world over a span of centuries. Decolonizing the lens we've culturally been given is hard and intentional work. This centuries-old system has societal systems and ways of being built on top of it, and more on top of that. Centuries. Remember how that water thing works? We see stereotyped representations of people of color in movies and television and books, where the character is only redeemed or shown worthy of a better life and circumstance through the help of a white character. This common theme is known as white saviorism. When we see this narrative over and over again, as polished by the water, it can begin to seem inevitably true. We can see people of color misrepresented and underrepresented in history, and sometimes just in how history is told and in societal structures. We see it in the news media and how stories and the people in those stories are presented or left out entirely. We see it in the unequal treatment and abuses by those who assume power and authority. Work of recognizing the culture of white supremacy that is ubiquitous in the United States and other previously colonized nations does not stop with the mere opening of eyes. The systemic racism that has grown will not end with the acknowledgement of the culture, but with active steps towards changing it. This is the significance of the statement, Black Lives Matter, and showing that they do, when and where it matters, and it matters everywhere. This is anti-racism, and the beginning of an honest conversation about how we care for each other and ourselves as people of color or as allies.